your father and son Buckeye podcast duo, coming at you with a little sad one here today, talking about the Michigan drumming, 42-27 for the Buckeyes.
Well,
And
it was bound to occur, right?
yeah.
We had so many in a row, and it seemed like the perfect storm in that, we were kind of in a rebuilding year. So our key players are very young and learning. Our offensive line, except for Thayer Mumford, is pretty new. I guess Nicholas Petit-Frere is better. And then the defense is very young, right? And earlier in the year, we saw some real problems with defensive scheme and defensive play calling. And Kerry Combs was basically unseated for play calling. And they started to do a little bit different scheme, after the Oregon game. Then coming to this game, having not won so many times, having won many times in a row, Michigan being up, Adrian what's that guy's name? Hutchins was talking about how they're fed up with not having won. His dad won all four, and he hasn't won any. That kind of juiced them up to win a game. And then I think the weather played a role. I keep saying this, and people don't take heed. The SEC has the strength of its league because it never plays in that kind of weather. That kind of weather beats a body up, is prone to injury, it hurts. So you got CJ Stroud from California, probably never seen weather like that to play in. You've got the receivers, all three, Najigma, Olave, and Garrett Wilson, two from Texas, one from California. Doubt they've seen weather like that. And then offensive line, Nicholas Petit-Frere is from here in Florida. So I think that kind of played in it. But I think, I hear people saying the offense lost the game. We were in it in the first half, and in the second half, we come out and do a 3-and-out. And that play calling and blocking scheme or what, those kinds of problems, you have to point to the offensive coaches. But I would submit to you, the defense was was a big part of the problem. They couldn't stop the run. I don't know that Michigan punted in the second half. And that doesn't give the offense a chance to score. So that puts the onus on the offense to score every single time. And then they get out there and they do, illegal procedures in their 1st and 20. And then their red zone inefficiency reared its ugly head. So all the weaknesses that we've displayed in the year have kind of coalesced on this particular game. They beat us. And bottom line, the line of scrimmage in the trenches. We lost both sides of the ball. That one.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to.
And what's most disappointing, what I saw when the defense came out the first time, I didn't see what's his name, Haskell Garrett on the field. I'm like, why is he not starting? The first series, I don't see Haskell Garrett at all.
Okay.
And he's our best defensive lineman. Yeah, is it going to be sad not watching the Big Ten championship this weekend and, wondering what could have been? But at the end of the day, the other side of the coin opens the door for Twin Ewers.
So does the fact that this loss to Michigan, does that put an extra oomph on it for you? Does it make it extra tragic?
I don't anymore have the drama of the Michigan game like I once used to.
Okay.
I used to get so bent out of shape and angry about it. And now, I don't know, not so much. I mean, I really thought, like everybody else, that we would win this game. I was quite surprised that we did, just like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to, like you said, I mean, they just lost the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and I thought they lost it badly. Like you said, I think definitely weather had some part to do with it. It seemed like there was kind of like times where balls were slipping out of receivers' hands a little bit, or like that. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I
but
agree. I think in a game, I wondered, like in a game like this, Olave and even Garrett Wilson dropped balls. But
yeah,
then again, they caught some amazing balls too. So at the end of the day, they did a great job, kept them in it. And
yeah,
CJ didn't throw an interception. He didn't play that bad. He just, whenever he doesn't have
yeah.
time,
I
the
don't.
offensive line doesn't do their job. He gets hammered.
Yeah, the O line, yeah, played just really badly, and but Petit Ferrer, I mean, he had a terrible day. But I, after a loss, I really find it interesting to see how do the players and coaches respond. Like, what are their, I guess, demeanors at the podium? Because I think that reveals kind of a lot about their true character. Um, because this is a place where people don't lose to face a loss like this. What is their demeanor like and everything? So I was surprised. Ryan Day was a lot more composed than I thought he would be at the podium. He kind of just seemed like a disappointed dad to me. Like, he was disappointed, but like he wasn't. He wasn't like Urban. Like, Urban sometimes would just be like mentally not there. CJ Stroud was all right. Like, he was just kind of pissed off. It seemed like at the podium. And then I was really impressed with Petit Frere. Like I said, he had a terrible game, but like he was like probably the most like positive. And then Olave did, yeah, he was just like understandably like very just distraught, like and understandably, I mean, he came back to win a national championship, and now that's kind of gone up in flames.
What I'm curious to know is to see if Michigan can sustain this. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I heard
And
yeah.
Harbaugh made some comment about Ryan Day being on third base, and some alluding to the fact that he inherited this team. But that's not completely true at all. Justin Fields came to Ohio State because of Ryan Day, not because of Urban Meyer. Not at all.
Yeah, Ryan Day recruited C.J. Stroud. I think if Urban Meyer was here, like Jack Miller or somebody would be the quarterback, because Jack Miller was Urban's guy.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. Um,
Well, I mean, so
but
Jack Miller has already declared that he's leaving.
oh, really?
Yeah, he pretty much came out the next day and said, I'm going somewhere else where I can play. So,
Oh,
no surprise. The people think that, the reporters think that Kyle McCord will stay for the spring, and if he doesn't win the starting job, he may go. So with Lincoln Riley going to USC, then there's rumor that they're going to have a hard time recruiting out of California. The
yeah,
JT Tumalaus or the CJ Strouds or Olave. I worry about, and you ask about, being an older fan, does it piss me off? What it does do is it ushers on a little PTSD with Jim Harbaugh, because when he was a player, he won all 4 games, and the last year they had lost. We were clearly better, and he predicted they would win in Columbus, and sure enough, they
right.
did. And that pisses me off to this freaking day.
Yeah.
I hate that guy because of that. And he's
Yeah.
sitting there talking shit. So if he's developed the system that's working, he can't give himself a lot of credit either. Because Gaddis coached called a fantastic game, and McDonald is what changed that defense around.
Well, yeah, listen, I mean, Ohio State has a defense problem that, I mean, if you look since 2018, the 2019 season was the only good defense. Okay, that's in 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons. So in the last 4 seasons, they had one good defense. It was a really good defense, but yeah, the fact that 3 out of the last 4 seasons, their defense has not been up to par. That is a program problem. Yeah, they're going to need to figure this out, and especially because I think the defense under Ryan Day is always going to be basically run by someone else. Is it going to be always depending on the assistant coaches on how good the defense is? Because Jeff Hafley was good, and they had a good defense that year, but Kerry Combs doesn't seem up to par. Matt Barnes, I don't know if he's like ready for this kind of situation.
Matt Barnes was a defensive coordinator briefly at Maryland or something like that.
Yeah.
Came here. All of his hires on offense, Corey Dennis just kind of moved him up. He just moved people up. He didn't really go out and search. And then he's hired Kerry Combs, Al Washington, right?
Yeah.
The Barnes, and his defensive coaches he hired is not good. They're not good. They're not up to the standard that is expected. Where was Al Washington's last linebacker, top, 5-star linebacker that he's recruited? Maybe the guy's injured, but we don't have linebackers anymore.
Yeah.
We used to be linebacker U. What happened to that?
Yeah.
And this turnover on defense is going to leave a void in recruiting because people aren't going to come and people are going to have problems because of that. But he needs to get himself a strong defensive coordinator and someone that's going to stick around.
Yeah. Like a Venables. Yeah, if you get like a Venables, that would be.
Yeah, well, I think Venables is hard to find.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I think the formula is, Ryan Day's gotta find someone on his defensive guy who's gonna stick around for a long time. Because, I think unless that happens, maybe we're gonna see this kind of struggles every couple of years.
And Ryan Day said we did not come out and execute. We did not. We weren't tough. They bullied us and beat us up like a bunch of a school kid in a backyard, in the schoolyard. I mean, there was no fight in these guys. And that's what I saw. I saw them not. And then at the end of the game, it was getting chippy because they were just getting tired. The defense was finally tired. The Michigan's offense, I think, averaged 5 yards a play in the first half and then 10 yards in the second half. And then we get within 8 points and we couldn't hold off. Then red zone scoring sucked. Again, sucked. Is it the play calling? Some of it was penalties that killed us.